Hello, welcome to the Plaid Sheep Oracle. You probably have seen videos for what's being called the Lion's Gate portal, or the 8-8 portal. And this has to do with the Heliacal rising of Sirius. And what that means is Sirius coming to be far enough, or I guess the sun being far enough away from Sirius that Sirius can be seen. And it kind of rises from behind the sun. Or at least it appears to rise from where we are here on Earth. Now what's interesting is that it doesn't happen on the same day. It's not as if everywhere on Earth this happens on, say, August 8th. It actually happens in a period of time from about the middle of July to early September. And it changes depending on your latitude. So in Cairo, for example, the heliacal rise of Sirius will be around August 1st, when Sirius will be visible just before sunrise on the eastern horizon. And that is because Sirius is currently at 14 degrees 24 minutes of Cancer. And so the sun, right, as it's moving from Leo, is making that distance bigger. And Sirius will become visible. For the ancient Egyptians, this moment was a sign, or not really a sign, but a marker that the inundation of the Nile was about to occur. An inundation was sort of the name for this time period when the Nile would burst its banks and the soil all around would be fertilized by the waters of the Nile. And by that, right, this really silty, nutrient-rich earth would, get spread out over the fields. So this had both a practical application as well as spiritual significance. So for me, right, it's not so much about, this idea of the Lion's Gate as it is about this period of inundation. And that we can have a sort of bursting of the energetic banks. That there is a lot of energy available now. That we are in this period of inundation. A period of fertilizing, of enriching our own personal soil. So this is actually the second time I'm doing this reading. The first time it was very interesting, but also very sort of esoteric and, kind of from the point of view of the signs as energies. And I wanted something more personal. I don't know, I may post the other reading as well. If you're interested, say so in the comments. So I've pulled cards for the 12 signs, Aries through Pisces. I have not looked at them, except for this one card that kind of wanted to sneak into the Scorpio pile, and we're going to see how that fits. But I have seen the bottoms, and so there is this general message, right? Both electricity and actually right below that, this molten sun. And I'm just seeing now, below that is the richness card. And actually also the mystery card. Oh, look, and the time card. I'm going to stop there. So this sense, right, the sense of electricity, of the spark perhaps arriving. And then we have focus. And actually below that is flexibility. So that focus is required for this period, because there is going to be possibly all this excess energy, and flexibility too, to change direction quickly, to not be rigid. And then we have both the flower spirit and below that the gardener, right? So the sense of the land becoming more fertile, of the plantings, of things growing. And then there is an interesting combination of the moon and the Queen of Swords. So both mystery, perhaps a little confusion, uncertainty, combined with this energy of discernment and clarity. So that, right, possibly both of these may be available. And then, of course, not surprisingly, we have the wheel. And here, particularly this wheel, right, with the ant floating possibly on the floodwaters. And then we also have the Nine of Wands. And a sense of coming to the end, reaching the finish line of something. And then opening to discovery, combined with this spirit of gratitude, with this lotus flower. And there are lotus flowers that grow in Egypt, flowers on the Nile. So, starting off with Aries, hearth, refuge with the enchanted fern grotto, can you hear me? The Three of Cups, the Lovers, the Page of Wands, and I'm going to leave the last card until the end. So this feels, it does have some similarity with the first reading. That this period of fertility for you, Aries, may start out kind of quietly. And that may be because you are such a fiery energy yourself. You may be more accustomed than some to large quantities of energy, to channeling large quantities of energy. And also that, we're sort of we're entering the flip side of Aries season, which begins in March. And now, right at the equinox, and now we're approaching the September equinox. So from an Aries perspective, right, we're entering the opposite energy when maybe you might actually want to cocoon, want to slow down, want to, maybe not seek refuge exactly, but but be more peaceful, more quiet. And even here, you know, this feels like, right, these waters, these inundating waters. And that for you, this is going to be about psychic communication. That rather than this being, you know, as much about this electricity, that this is more about a quiet process. About listening rather than doing. And with this Three of Cups, perhaps celebrating, taking time to really, right, to enjoy the fruits of this season. I mean, I do tend to think, I live up here in the Northern Hemisphere, as do most people in the world. So my perspective does tend to be that we are coming to the end of summer, to this really, to this harvest space. We're only a few days from Lammas, or Lunasa, the first of the harvest festivals. And then the Lovers too is not really coming through as choice or the holy marriage or anything, but as, right, as being with people, right, being with your loved ones. That you could take this time to really, right, to really be listening. Maybe listening to people around you. And then this Page of Wands, right, that has this, right, it has kind of a heavy Taurus element. But there isn't, right, there's not a lot of fire in this card. There is kind of a quietness, right, the dull sort of sepia colors of this deck. So I think, Aries, that maybe you are the refuge. That because you are more familiar, right, with a lot of energy, with fire, with the sun is exalted in Aries. That maybe you are the refuge for others. So that this would be a great time to, you know, to be hospitable, to open your home to people, to, you know, gather around the hearth, right? To sit around, to tell stories, to talk to each other. So let's see. Oh, that's interesting. We have exposed and revealed. And I want to say that this is not you. This is these other people. That it is possible for you to really, right, to see and to hear other people. To be the refuge, to be the one who sees, who witnesses what is happening for others. Oh. So have some events, have some picnics and some parties, Aries. Taurus. Huh. Fire. Trust. the Red Garden. The Seven of Pentacles. The Eight of Swords. The Page of Pentacles. Taurus. Well, this seems like an end to any kind of lack-filled patterns. Any kind of discomfort or even fear of fire. If this, right, ignition, if this spark, this kind of fiery, passionate energy has maybe made you uncomfortable in the past, I think you have the opportunity during this inundation to become much more comfortable and at ease with fire and passion. To learn trust. You know, this cyclical idea, right, that you know, every end of July, beginning of August, the Nile would flood. That you could trust that this would happen. And also that you can trust your own strength, your own abilities to engage with the fire. And this is card number 8, which also is, it's related to the Strength card in tarot, and to power and infinity. And then the Red Garden, which is also number 8. This kind of, also this kind of flamboyance, right? She's flamboyant, this figure. And I think of Taurus, you know, as not necessarily, at least in modern times, as not really being flamboyant. Although, you know, there is an option certainly for luxurious. There's a luxurious quality too, right? Those petals around her head, you know, look like they might feel velvety, that there's a luxurious quality to the overgrowth of this beautiful red garden. And here in the Seven of Pentacles, to these gorgeous fruits. I think that even though Venus is Taurus's guide, and there is this sense of, right, of beauty, of voluptuousness, of fecundity, of, right, the richness of the soil, right, the fertility of it, right, of the sex of flowers and fruits, that in our modern day, Taurus may be a little stilted, perhaps. Some of the Taurus energies that I have encountered right, had a rigidity about them. There wasn't a lot of Venus on display. But now there may be a growing comfort with that, right? With breaking out of any kind of mental strictures around perhaps needing to be pragmatic or practical. You know, that earthy means, right, that means pragmatic or frugal, or simple, right, without ornament. And then the page, the learning, right, learning the new way, maybe unlearning what was before, but maybe learning the way of fire, becoming more comfortable with your passions, with your desires, with what turns you on, with what you want to see in your life. What do we have here? Oh, see, great big love. What do you love, Taurus? What makes your heart beat faster in your chest? What fills your cup? What overflows, right? Can you imagine your cup overflowing? Taurus. An overflowing cup for you. Gemini. Oh, and there you are. The pair in the equator. Earth spirit, stability. My dear friend, another pair. The Six of Pentacles. The King of Swords. The Six of Pentacles again. You know, Sirius is a binary star system. Sirius A and Sirius B. And as they rotate around each other, they have a 50-year cycle. So from Earth's perspective, sometimes you can really see them as separate stars. And sometimes, because of how they're the angle, they look like only one star. And they were actually at their most sideways in their view in 2019. And they will be at their most lined up from our perspective in 2044. 20 years on the other end of where we are. So there's something here for you, Gemini, about balance with 2 Six of Pentacles showing up and the equator to make equal. Here with stability, I want to say that even more than things being exactly equal, that things are, with my dear friend, in good relationship. That you're going to find the ability to be more stable, to have a grounded core for yourself, Gemini, so that I think, this time period that we're in is both amazing for the Gemini energy and also, I think, really challenging. Because there is so much information. It's kind of amazing. We can, look up anything that we want, but we can look up anything that we want. It can be too much, even for Gemini energy. Right? So rather than the Knight of Swords, who is generally seen as your card, we have the King here. And he's associated with Aquarius, which is a more grounded, fixed sign. So the ability to be stable in your core, even with any of the chaos that's swirling around in the world. That you have this opportunity at the moment to really gain this kind of really good relationship with yourself. That you're not pulled here and there and everywhere. Oh, great and full. So here, this is some of that focus showing up. And also this, in this deck, this is a root chakra card. That grounding, right? To feel full in yourself. To feel you have grounding and resources. That you can make clear choices for yourself. That you're not dragged hither, thither, and yon. That you have the ability to have focus. To really concentrate on what it is that means the most to you. Gemini. Cancer. Oh. Atoms with building. Wild Rose Fairy Love. New Direction. The World. And the Fool. And Justice. Cancer. You are getting ready to do something. And it is Sirius, right? Sirius is in your sign. So it does seem perhaps that you I don't know that you will have the most of this energy, or that it is the most directed, perhaps through your sign, to build something completely new, and to build something that perhaps may not have seemed possible here, right? To build it in a kind of quantum way with these atoms, to really get into this energy that's coming towards you, right? To ride it like she's riding these waves of flowers, to feel the wildness of it and to revel in that. To, with this card, throw caution to the wind. You are a cardinal sign, Cancer. You do have the desire to initiate, but you can, right? You can get caught up inside your shell, inside perhaps the need to feel safe. And it seems like you're being given the opportunity to just go. Maybe in a way that you never have before, right? And to have this world that you've built, that you've been caring for, ready to deploy. And then to go. To do something completely new that you've never done before. to really stride into this. Right? This isn't so much about the meaning of justice, but just that she's, right, she is striding forward with this insect entourage. Absolutely confident. Absolutely clear. No surprise at all. Waking the lion. Of course, Cancer. Wake your lion. Build it. Ride the wave of energy and go. Leo. Oh. Ice with purity. Frog spirit, renewal. Eva. The Queen of Pentacles. Interestingly. And the Ten of Swords. And the Ten of Pentacles. So you, Leo, have some sort of wake-up call happening. Right? If you've been asleep here, the horse is arriving to wake you up. To wake you up. If you've been like living under a spell as this frog, you are about to get woken and transformed back into your proper self. You know, she is, right, she's a little bit of a, right, there's a little bit of a devilish character to her. She always, of course, you know, we think of the Garden of Eden. Taking a bite from the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I mean, taking a bite of the fruit in general. Choosing to pull the fruit off the branch and eat it. Choosing to be the Queen of Pentacles. To be this generative force. This being that is about both the care of the self in her own personal body, but also the care of others. She is interested in the well-being of all, that everyone should feel this affluence, this connection to the earth that she feels. And then also to have the ability to ride this energy wave. I don't really see this as the traditional Ten of Swords here today, but as this ability to ride and channel this fiery energy. And to take that and to turn it into something, to turn it into the lotus, to turn it into what it is that you want. And I think maybe, right, what it is with the Ten of Pentacles, what it is that the group wants and needs. I mean, there is a sense with this energy altogether, and it certainly was very prevalent in the last reading, that part of this is about kind of the communal aspect. You know, certainly Inundation was a big communal energy, right? It was a festival. It was a whole time period. You know, afterwards there was work to be done. Once the fields were rich and ready for planting. So there is a group sense of all of this. And then when you wake up and come into real knowledge of yourself, of your own power, your ability to channel energy that's arriving and wants, right? The energy that wants to be used, right? The life force, the viriditas. Oh. Earth magic. Do we need to say any more? Leo. Virgo. Storms. Oh, water spirit, manifesting dreams. The art of seduction. Virgo. Three of Pentacles. Six of Swords. The Knight of Swords. So, Virgo. Spreading the news. It seems to me that you are having a kind of epiphany, right? I mean, here with this sort of electric storm thing happening. I mean, the subtitle here is cleansing. But this feels more like, right, like the bolt of lightning that, you know, is an epiphany that gives you a new idea, that shows you what it is perhaps that you've been missing on your way to being able to manifest your dreams. Right, and here with the waters rising. And I think what you want is to spread that around. You want everybody to enjoy this. And I think that you realize that, you know, maybe what's needed is seduction, or at least that's what you want. You don't want to, right? You don't want to win people over with statistics and, you know, lists of things. You want to do it with, right, with juice, with love, with eros. You know, he might be in Virgo now. If he isn't, he will be shortly. He was in Leo, but then he moves into Virgo. You know, and Mercury, right, is going to do a little dance from Virgo into Leo and then back. Right, the Three of Pentacles, doing things together, joint effort, helping one another. Right, Six of Swords, a different way, a different mindset, maybe than you've had up until this point. I mean, you are, right, you're the hermit traditionally, and maybe you have been hermiting. Maybe you have been reluctant to kind of step back out into society in some way. But I think this energy will give you the impulse, the desire, the courage, right? Knight of Swords, to take that message. Mercury is your guide too, as he is Gemini's. Right? To spread the good word, the gospel. Not in a proselytizing way, though, right? This is not about, chiding people or shaming people or trying to manipulate people into this, right? This is seducing them. Because you know that it's so, so good. It is so, so good. Here, oh, wish upon a star. Your motives, Virgo, are absolutely pure. Seduction gets a bad rap. It's seen as, right, as something that tempts people from their right and true course. But your intentions, your motivations are absolutely pure, Virgo. You want everybody to feel this good. You want everybody to experience what you are experiencing. Virgo. It's got a little dark here. I'm going to go turn on a little bit more light. Libra. Motion, air. Oh. Butterfly spirit, transformation. To the moon and back. Seven of Cups. Four of Wands. Ace of Pentacles. So you too, Libra, there is something here that you are building as well. I think you, not surprisingly, that it may be more, right, about relationship or about forming some sort of new community. Right? Because we have this air, right, it's a whole herd of horses moving. And then this transformation, this, right, finding the pearl inside the oyster. There is too, right, a suggestion of Venus on the half shell here too. So love, beauty, harmony. I think you have a vision for a transformed relationship. It could just be one single relationship that you are focused on. Or it could be, right, it could be a whole family, it could be a workplace. Right, because we have this to the moon and back, right? I love you to the moon and back. People that you really care about, that are very close to your heart, right? And you want to build something with them. You want to create something, both with this particular Seven of Cups and then with the Four of Wands, right? That card of, perhaps of marriage or, some new venture that has been created after the Two and Three of Wands. And then, of course, the Ace of Pentacles, the whole new reality, the new physical world. It may be that, maybe you want to take your family and move them somewhere. Maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want to start a family. And so there's some transformational element that is necessary to this. It may be that it's mostly you that you're transforming so that you can see it, so that you can do it. Or it could be the environment that you're seeking to transform so that this is possible. Body and soul. So there is something about both the physical environment as well as perhaps the spiritual outlook that needs transforming, that needs changing. And these current energies will, give you, the power, the drive, the initiative. This is card 22. And often that's talked about as the precursor to 33 when something comes into being. Right? So 22 is the plan, the mental plan, and 33 is the actual putting things together. And then 44 as it being, sort of completely in place. Oh, Libra. Scorpio. We'll put that over there in a moment. Rain with fecundity. Thicket of thorns with uncertainty. That's like meat and drink to you, Scorpio. A long way home. The Five of Swords. The Queen of Wands. Strength. So, you, seems like everybody else, not really surprising, have something in mind that you want to create. Maybe you've even planted the seeds, but you've been feeling uncertain. Like, is it working? Is it going to work? Maybe there's some impatience going on with this long way home. But what always strikes me about this card is that while it says that, there is a home. It always makes me think that the person here is already home. And that home is something, in this case, something that you carry with you. Home that is yours within your heart, within your spirit. And that what is, the difficulty is really just in your head. The difficulty is in your head and in the thoughts that you tend to think about these things. That maybe you really focus on the uncertain aspect or on the long way aspect. Now the card, the next card is the Queen of Wands, who is a very together character. She is not worried about anything being uncertain She is creative, and she, you know, she decides that she wants something, and then she does something fun while she waits for it to arrive. Right? She's, you know, and maybe actually with this card, I always feel like she's singing things into being rather than speaking them or demanding that they come, right? That she sings them. She plays music. It's like she serenades things into being. And the card that tried to come out with her, sort of hiding underneath her, is the Star. So I think that Scorpio, you know, you are a little bit like Cancer in this way, that there's this hard outer shell, and then there's these soft squishy bits inside. The really tender inner part of you, the romantic. And that if you've been hiding that part of yourself, if you've been poo-pooing that part of yourself, now is the opportunity to really let it loose. To really let loose all of that energy of the wish. Right? To just open your whole heart. Right? Because then we have strength. You absolutely have it. That is never in question. You have the strength to support this tender, romantic heart. Into me I see. And there it is. Right? This flower, this heart that you can take out and reveal. Reveal your soft, tender bits, Scorpio. You have all the strength that you need. Right? Even this card, which never really looks like fecundity to me because she has this protective posture of her arms across her chest. And I know that this is, you know, perhaps in part to cover up her bits for the picture. But I always feel like she should have been depicted with her arms wide open and her face up to the rain. Right? The heavy rain like washing down her body. So open yourself up, Scorpio. Reveal your tender heart. All right. Sagittarius. Creation with water. Owl spirit, wisdom. Bloom. The Page of Swords. The Five of Pentacles. The Queen of Swords. I feel like you, Sagittarius, are about helping, are about kind of being there for others. You know, I see this, right, this creative card as kind of as this grandmother image. And then this owl that's kind of coming in to you know, perhaps land by this woman who today is looking a little like she might be sad, like she might not know what to do, and the owl is arriving to assist. And this also this bloom card, like that you're blooming into this teacher, right? That these antennae of your hair are all about, you know, hearing the call of anybody that is ready to learn, to know, to be inspired. Right? That you have this, and you have this innocence about you. Right? This Page of Swords. You're not showing up in some, you know, really, right, like a knight in armor arriving. You're showing up in this very gentle form. And here, right, with the Five of Pentacles is, right, the people who are calling out to you. The people who might need to hear what you have to say. The people who feel sad and forlorn and left out. And we also have the Queen of Swords. So there is, I don't want to say a caution exactly, but a suggestion of discernment, because you are so enthusiastic and you're so attractive, right? That people may just start showing up because you're glowing like a beacon. So just to be discerning about how you engage in this way. Oh yes. The rose's kiss. Right? The sweetness. Right? This is how you are going, right? You're not going really carrying a sword to people. You're carrying bunches of roses. Right? This wisdom, this healing, this blooming energy that you want to spread is about the roses. Sagittarius. It's getting a little dark here. The sun is setting. I usually do readings in the morning, but we're here in the afternoon. Maybe we can adjust a little bit. A little more light. The last three. So Capricorn. Inner core. Fire spirit with energy. The House of Flowers. The Ten of Pentacles. The Six of Wands. Judgment. So you too, clearly, Capricorn, not surprisingly, are interested in building something. But I think that you are interested in building something on a bigger scale. Right? We have this dove of peace here. This image of the world, right? The two heads is the world. And then this person who's balancing energies. The house filled with flowers. Right? A house that's filled with joy. And of course the 10 of Pentacles. And here with, two people working together to build this thing. And the victory of this 6 of Wands. And of course Judgment, the new, right, the call to something new. So you, Capricorn, I think, are really considering how to build something that is going to create a bigger change. Now that might be, sort of in a community, or maybe in a bigger element of the workspace, right? Like not just your office, but the whole company. A whole neighborhood. But it could be bigger than that. It could be that you have ideas about the whole world, or your whole country, about creating this house of flowers for everybody. How can we move the world towards this house of flowers, towards this co-creative 10 of Pentacles, towards this dove of peace? And that the energies that are flowing now may be really encouraging you. That you have the ability, right, with this fire card, that you have the ability. Oh yeah, see? Healing the heart. Because that may be, right, what has to come first before everybody can live in their house of flowers. Oh, Capricorn. Big plans. I'm excited with what everybody's doing. Aquarius. Oh, South, adventure. Spirit guardian of spring, activation. The elixir of life. The magician. The 8 of Pentacles. The Queen of Wands. Well, I feel like I'm repeating myself, although there are certainly nuances here. This feels a little more like an internal process, right? That you've been wanting. You've been wanting some sort of adventure. You've been wanting something to jumpstart your life. To activate something that maybe has felt dormant for a long time. Perhaps you went, you've been out, you've been paying attention to your body, to your senses, to your heart, to that water that you carry as the water bearer. And maybe this inundation, this overflowing, is that container that Aquarius carries is flooding, overflowing with this feeling of love and light and life. So you got plans, Aquarius. You got ideas. You got things you want to do, adventures you want to have. And this, right, this energy of the inundation may be just what you needed to get you started. To get you started and, you know, to follow through with the Eight of Pentacles. And that isn't really a problem for you. You're a fixed sign, Aquarius. You follow through. I think that mainly, you know, right, it is the activation, getting you moving. Getting fixed signs moving is often the trick. And then once you do, they are off and going. Right, and here you are, Queen of Wands in the flood. But perfectly at ease in the flood, ready to go, Aquarius, to have your adventure, to, right, to smell all the roses, to really enjoy yourself, Aquarius. I think you want to really enjoy yourself. Oh, ears wide open. So, like, really ready. I mean, like ready for the call. Your ears are wide open. Ready for the smallest indication that it's time to go. Right, kind of to let your hair down, Aquarius. To have an adventure. To really get the blood moving in your body, to move the spirit, to and finally, we have Pisces. With East and beginnings. Eagle spirit, freedom. Oh, and a mermaid's love. The Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Wands. And the Five of Pentacles. Pisces. You know, this seems like some kind of activation too. I don't know, the sort of the image that I have is that you've been this kind of placid lake and that you want to be a rushing river instead. That you want to, right, that you want to have experience, that you want to be filled. Right, there's this kind of activation energy here with this, right, this energy coming out of this portal. And then, of course, right, the soaring bird and freedom. And then the mermaid's love. You know, this feels a little, right? This feels a little tame. You know, as kind of does the Seven of Swords here, right? That maybe you've been locked away in some way. That you felt, I don't know, maybe you felt numb or stagnant, right? Like this, that your water has gone all stagnant and still. That you needed something, right? Something to get you moving, something to change things for you, that you needed a charging, right? That you needed this electricity to run through you, right? And water is a good conductor of electricity. That you've just been waiting for the charge, right? To get moving, right? The Seven of Wands, right? The poke to get you out of this, you know, kind of resting at the bottom, right? Like you're just in the weeds. And I almost feel, you know, like this, right? That this inundation, this flooding is going to carry you. It's going to carry you from the bottom of the water where you've just kind of been hanging out in the mud, stuck there, out onto the bank. Ready to be, right? Ready to be seen, ready to feel the sun again. Ready to be expansive, ready to move. And we have the burst of magic. How many lotuses have shown up? I mean, granted, they're a frequent symbol in oracle and tarot decks, but it's really quite a lot of lotuses have shown up. So yours, you know, your Pisces, you seem the least, I want to say, active in this. Right? Some of the other signs, you know, particularly Cancer and Capricorn and Aquarius, right? All these people who are building things and taking action. You seem more like you are going to receive the benefit of being carried off, Pisces. That your only job is to be present and able to receive, at least through this period, right? That there's going to be this burst of magic. I think that something else is going to happen, right? That we're going to reach a place where you will then take action. But that this initial period now is not about that. This is about you being swept up and carried somewhere else. And your job is to just not resist that, but to allow yourself to be swept, Pisces. To allow the burst of magic, right? I mean, in here with the lotus flower, it feels, right, like often people talk about how lotuses, you know, start their life down in the mud and then they grow up into this beautiful flower, right? And that's a metaphor. But here, right, it's almost like you were sort of like really stuck down there. It's like your flower couldn't open. But now, with this inundation of energy, your flower is just going to shoot up to the top of the water. And that then, right, that something else, right, is going to happen later, right? That action will eventually be required. But not yet, Pisces. Just let it carry you. Oh. Jupiter is demanding his dinner. So I'm going to stop here. I hope that this was helpful. that it was useful, that you will be able to feel this rush, this inundation of energy, and that you really take advantage of it. I wish you all the very, very best, and I will see you next time. So long.